They say the left hand, it drop mountains. They say the right hand, be slaying dragons.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so let's get another Las Vegas morning started off properly. You know, my apologies to everybody on the channel. It's been very, very busy time with the beginning of Andrew Leo's training camp and helping him out. Some of the fighters in camp, like Fernando Paredes, Joseph Macedo, as well as, Jin Sasaki being in town. So we've been, doing what we can to offer our little insights to Jin so that he splattered Sora Tanaka all over the canvas at the Tokyo Dome. So I've been busy, and it's been hard managing YouTube and camps and things like that. But I'm a professional, so I always get back on track. But nonetheless, let's talk about this story, guys, because this story needs to be spoken about right now, right this second, because it's a very, very important moment in the history of our sport. And it's a very, very interesting storyline because, tomorrow, Zuffa Boxing 4 will be happening. The main event on that card is going to be Opetaia versus Brandon Glenn for the Zuffa Boxing title. It's the first ever Zuffa Boxing title fight in history, right? So there's been a lot of speculation about what's going to happen with Opetaia's title, his IBF title. Will he be allowed to defend it? Or will he be stripped of the belt? Or what will happen to the IBF title? Now it's been ruled. It's been finally ruled by the IBF themselves that they have already went ahead and stripped Jai Opetaia of the belt. They will not allow him to defend the belt against Brandon Glenn on Zuffa Boxing because this is a violation of the IBF rules. The IBF rules state that unless you're fighting for what is recognized as a special trophy or anything like that, you cannot fight for anything outside of like the WBA, WBC, WBO. The sanctioning bodies work together. They have a framework in which they work with each other to do unification fights. You understand? And Zuffa Boxing is not part of that plan. And Zuffa Boxing already themselves, like they never told Jai. I want y'all to think about this. They never told Jai anything about the IBF title. They let him sign when he did his initial press release, when he did his initial press run after the Zuffa Boxing signing. He said pretty much that we're gonna become undisputed. We're going to unify these titles, and it really looks like from the outside looking in that Jai Opetaia was swindled by his own team. His team was not honest with him. And Zuffa Boxing wasn't going to tell him what the reality was. They just wanted to get a guy who was a known, recognized, legitimate top fighter, world champion through the door so that they can start legitimizing their brand. That's how I see it. Is that reality? I'm not so sure, but that's how it sure as hell seems because I think any and every boxing fan that really follows this fight game and knows about Jai Opetaia and has, been up to date with what's going on with the Zuffa Boxing, I think the popular line of thought amongst most boxing fans was kind of a head scratcher. Like, why would Jai go to Zuffa Boxing if Jai has been probably one of the most vocal champions in any weight class in boxing about his ambitions to want to become undisputed? So it was a head scratcher. And Jai seemed to think that this was like the same thing as signing with Matchroom Boxing or Golden Boy or PBC or Top Rank, and that the goal was going to be undisputed, but it's not. So now, for the second time in his career, he's been stripped of the belt, right? The first time came in 2023 when he was when his mandatory opponent was Marius Briedis, and he instead decided to fight Ellis Soro for a lot more money because that was when Turki Al-Ashikis came into boxing, was splashing the cash on everyone. So as far as Jai is concerned, we'll talk Jai and we'll talk big picture. We'll start. As far as Jai is concerned, what does this mean? Well, it's got to have him feeling like a bit weird, a bit odd, maybe a bit lied to because, he worked very hard in his life to get the IBF title. And for the second time, he don't got it no more. It's been taken away from him. So now he was already pretty far away from being undisputed, but now he finds himself further away from being undisputed. Now he's with Zuffa Boxing. And, what does that really mean for his career in the grand scheme of things? The best thing I could say for Jai is, that he's on Paramount Plus, so if he goes in there and fights how he normally fights, he's on a big platform and, good for him. We'll see how it goes. As far as big picture for the sport of boxing, I think, and I always knew this was going to happen, but, you know, it's happened a lot sooner than I thought it would. You know, we have reached the political Cold War in our sport, where now you got Opetaia, not Opetaia, but you got a clear line in the sand has been drawn by the sanctioning bodies in Zuffa boxing. Zuffa boxing is its own thing. It's its own ecosystem. They don't care about the alphabet titles. They're not interested in the alphabet titles. And I've been telling you guys this because I know people at Zuffa boxing, multiple, not one, but, you know, 2 or 3 people at Zuffa boxing. And I talk, right? And they're not interested in doing they don't want anything to do with those organizations. So, you know, now I think it's clear as day, especially for an IBF champion. If you go and you sign with Zuffa boxing and you're currently a world champion, you are going to have to get rid of and relinquish the titles. Now, you know, everybody has their ambitions in life and ambitions in boxing. So whatever you decide to do, that's your cross to bear. That's your decision. But we've seen what's happened now with Opetaia, and that is going to be I do believe that this is going to be the case for any and all world champions moving forward. So, you know, I think it's really interesting, and I think it's going to force the sanctioning bodies maybe to get their act together, because, you know, Zuffa boxing does have a pretty big bankroll, and you know, Jai is one thing, but, you know, I feel like if they really want to get a top name, a top fighter like a Bam or a Shakur or something like that, they'll put the money up. So, you know, I'm really intrigued to see how these next 6 months are going to play out. But yeah, the line has been drawn in the sand, and let there be no confusion amongst boxing fans, amongst boxing enthusiasts, about what happens if you're a champion and you sign with Zuffa boxing. If you're a champion and you sign with Zuffa boxing, you will no longer be a champion of that belt organization. So fighters and their teams got to weigh out the pros and the cons of that, you know, from a fighting standpoint, from a commercial standpoint, and they make the best decision that they feel is best for the fighter. But really interesting stuff. I don't know what's going to come of you know, winning this Zuffa title. Like, what does it really mean? Because Zuffa, you can't unify it. You know, you can't unify it. There's only a very small pool of fighters that are signed to Zuffa, right? And if you're a guy like Jai Opetaia who signed to Zuffa boxing and they're trying to rule with an iron fist and not willing to work with anybody else in boxing, right? Then, you know, these dream fights like Benavidez or Zotto Ramirez, the winner of that, you know, is that going to be dead in the water? I feel like it is, unless, of course, Benavidez and or Zotto, the winner of that fight, decides to, you know, go the Zuffa route. So there's been a line drawn, guys, and let there be no, if you were confused before, if you were taking the wait and see approach before, don't take it no more. This is a clear line drawn by both sides of boxing. So make of that what you will. How do you guys feel about it? Do you guys feel like Jai is being screwed over? Do you think he was lied to and swindled by his team? I personally think it's his team wasn't honest with him, you know, which is what, you know, speaking as someone who's part of a couple teams in boxing, I'm always honest with any fighters I speak to about the situations they're in. And I also feel like Zuffa, they weren't honest either, because for them it was all about, you know, just getting his foot through the door so that they can have some legitimacy towards the brand early on. So, you know, a lot of people weren't honest with Jai, and Jai trusted the wrong people, unfortunately, and I think he's in a very weird predicament. So we'll see how he feels about it. I don't know how he feels. I can't speak for the guy, but I guess I'll be waiting to see what he says in his first interview. So leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.
Thank you for watching True School Sports.
Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports empire, the home of boxing. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, guys, so help us keep being great. Help us keep pushing out that real boxing content for the fine folks all around the world. And make sure you jab, you hook, you Mike Tyson, you Mayweather that subscribe button. Pops, show them how do they got to hit the subscribe button.